So the title of today's discussion is hard for me to choose when reality is showing me different. I get it. I was there before, right? You first get into this space and you're thinking, man, how am I supposed to choose an identity when reality shows me differently? Or you'll say things like, well, I've chosen it and nothing happened. I did choose it and nothing happened, right? Both of those things are tricks, they're traps. They just keep you caught up in the cycle of not having and not being. All right? Let's talk about this. So I'm going to start off with a little letter. Then we're going to get into the discussion. All right? So come sit with me for a moment before you reach for answers. Before you try to reach for answers, sit down with me for a moment. Before you scan the world for signs, before you look out there and look for signs, before you listen for a feeling to tell you who you are allowed to be today, let me remind you of something sacred. You were never meant to be convinced. You were meant to remember. You keep thinking faith will arrive like a feeling of clarity, but love doesn't always announce itself that way. Sometimes love is the stillness that stays when nothing else speaks. Sometimes it's the calm refusal to abandon yourself just because the room is quiet. You don't need fireworks to be real. You don't need reassurance to be whole. You're not unfinished because you cannot feel it yet. I know how tempting it is to look outward, to ask the mirror, to ask reality, to ask the SP if you are enough today, if you're chosen, if the path is still holding you. But listen, the mirror has never known your name. It only repeats what you have already whispered to yourself. So stop asking it to bless you. Bless yourself by standing. You're allowed to be certain without proof. You're allowed to rest in truth without emotional permission. You're allowed to stop negotiating your worth with your own feelings. What you are doesn't flicker when thoughts wander or feelings soften. What you are is older than mood, deeper than memory, steadier than circumstance. Stay here with me, in this knowing, in this authority. You don't need to perform belief. You don't need to chase alignment. You're already held by the very thing you are seeking. Let the world take its time catching up. You're not behind and you're not missing anything. Beautiful. Okay? Beautiful. And so now here's a quote from Steve Jobs. Right? It says, you have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Now, well, the question that we started this thing off with is, how do I choose an identity with no proof? How do I choose an identity if the external world is showing me different? All right? I will say, well, you do it all the time. Have you ever read a biography of somebody that you look up to, right? And you're reading their biography and they say nothing about God. They say nothing about manifestations or affirmations. They don't say any of that. They just say, I knew that it was going to work out for me. I knew that somehow this would happen. And then the business failed. Then the relationships failed. Then the next business failed. Then the next relationship failed. And boom, everything went right for them. And they simply knew that every step on the path was just another step on the path. Every step through reality was just another step through reality. This is the same way that we have to look at our life, right? This moment that you're in right now is sacred. Whatever it looks like, it is absolutely sacred. And you don't have to wait for anything outside to show you who you already are. You're already everything. The fullness of God is already within you. All realities already exist within you. You get to choose from that power. Right? So This is what we're going to talk about today. How to choose without identity. All right. So standing as truth when nothing agrees. Most people confuse faith with agreement. Agreement from the body. They wait for the feelings to line up. Oh, I know that I'm in faith. I know I'm walking in faith if I feel good. They think it's agreement from the mind. I know that I'm walking in faith if I have no opposite thoughts. They think it's agreement from circumstances. I'll know I'm prosperity when the money shows up. If it feels aligned, they call it faith. If it feels empty, quiet, or uncertain, they assume something's wrong. But throughout spiritual texts, right? Throughout any kind of serious spiritual tradition, this is exposed as backwards. So the first quote that we're going to talk about is John 20:29. It says, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." What does that mean? Remember, belief doesn't mean the belief that we talk about today. Back then, belief, this is faith. This is, I accept the truth that I cannot lose. I accept the truth that everything is working out. I accept the truth that my life is brilliantly and beautifully and divinely and majestically and deliciously unfolding from this point moving forward. I accept that absolute truth. All right? So let's get into it. Blessed are those who have not yet seen and yet have believed. This is not praise for blind hope. It is an initiation. Faith that requires sensation or feeling is still conditional. If your faith requires you to feel a certain way about it, it's conditional. You're a slave to that feeling. You walk outside right now, it's a gloomy day, you get in a negative mood for whatever reason, and all of a sudden you say, I'm not the person that I desire to be anymore. You get cut off in traffic, you're not the person you desire to be anymore. You're at the mercy of whatever shows up in your life. Your mood is not dictated, your identity is not dictated by you. If it's dictated by feelings, it's dictated by circumstance. This is why we call it the unholy trinity. Thoughts, emotions, circumstances. When you are governed by the thoughts, governed by the emotions, governed by the circumstances, you're a slave to them. They will always be dragging you around, having their way with you. Okay? So it only stands, faith in this case, faith that requires sensation, it only stands when the nervous system cooperates. It only holds when thoughts affirm it. The moment the emotional weather changes, and it will, identity is renegotiated. That's not faith, that is dependency. So if I'm trying to build an identity on feelings, on thoughts, on circumstances, I want you to think about what is the nature of all three of these things. The nature of feelings is that you can feel one way right now, and you can wake up in a whole nother mood tomorrow. The nature of thoughts, they can run this away and that away. The nature of circumstances is reality is always changing, always fading, always morphing, always evolving, always flowing. You're never in one moment for more than one moment. So to base your identity on that which is already guaranteed to change is a fool's errand. Do you see this? Do you see this? If you base your identity on the SP being here, when they're sad, all of a sudden you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong. Do I have to affirm for it, visualize for it? You turn into a cornball. If you base your identity on feelings, you're always swaying. If you base your identity on thoughts, they show up and they run around all day. You cannot build a house on quicksand. And because the nature of these three things, feelings, thoughts, and circumstances, the nature of them is that they change in every moment. They're always changing. And they're not even the truth. Because the nature of them is always changing, can you see how building an identity on that could lead to issues? Well, if I cannot build an identity on that, then what should I build an identity on? The only truth, that you are all that there is. God is everything and God is within you. This is the only truth. Everything else is just you choosing a truth, choosing a perspective from all of that to live by, right? Because remember, the only reason that you can say I am prosperity is because you are already all things. And so you get to choose that. The only reason that you can say it's not working out for me is because you are all things. You get to choose that. The only reason that you can say my SP has a 3P, they have two 3Ps. The only reason you can say that is because you are all things and you can choose that story. To say that they love you and adore you right now, the only reason you can say that and choose that is because you already are all things. So the truth, the primary truth of your existence is that you are all things. You're all things. This is just the truth. Everything, every identity that you choose after that is a concession, a reduction of that truth. Do you hear me? I am prosperity is still a reduction of I am all that there is. Do you hear me? I'm in a loving relationship, reduction of I am all that there is. So instead of leaning on the thoughts, on the circumstances, on the emotions to root in our identity, guess what? We go to the truth. We root our identity into knowing that because I'm all that there is right now, I get to choose who I am right now. Is I am love enough? You tell me. Is it enough? Is I am love enough? Is I am love enough? Okay. I've heard this before that feelings aren't truth, but I was told feelings are truth. So it looks like you have a choice to make. Right? What do you want me to convince you? It sounds like you have a choice to make. Do you want to believe that your feelings that change all the time are controlling your reality? Sounds like a tough path. You can do it if you want. Or do you want to decide that your identity is built based on the only truth that you are already everything you desire to be? Okay? What does it mean to be all that there is right now? It doesn't look like anything. It looks like you accepting the truth of yourself. What if you're out of love? That's impossible. That's just an assumption that you're making. You're not out of love. You just feel a certain way and you're basing your identity on a feeling. And you know better than that, Tiffany, because you've been here this whole time. You just are love. It's not a feeling. You just feel a certain type of way right now. You're saying you're out of love. Therefore, you're going to get that in your reality. And you wonder why you continue to be tired. Because you continue to lean on that same story. Because you've told that same story in other lives. And it hasn't changed. Therefore, of course, you're going to be tired because you're standing in the identity of someone who is out of love. Because they're constantly being bombarded by the external circumstances. Because you're looking at the external circumstance as the truth, which is exactly the opposite of what we've been talking about for the last year. Right? The exact opposite of what we've been talking about. If you continue to base your identity on your feelings, thoughts, circumstances, you will be tired. You will be exhausted, always trying, always complaining. Because they're always changing. You'll always be chasing them around, y'all. You're more divine than that. You are more divine than that. Of course, they're information, but are they truth? Feelings are information, but are they truth? The doctor says you have 2 months to live. That's information, but is it truth? Your zodiac sign is information. Is it truth? You're an avoidant. You can't be with certain people. Is that information or the truth? What is the truth except for what you accept? Is your feeling, because I feel sad, is that the truth? Am I a sad ass man now? Is shit not working out for me now because I feel sad? Come on, y'all, open up them brains now. Open up them damn brains. How many times y'all have to hear the same message? If your feelings are the truth, how could you ever be consistent in identity? So you telling me if you lose a family member and all of a sudden you're sad, what happens to your identity? You can't even mourn anymore, can you? Come on, guys. Come on. I don't have to convince you of this. You just have to think. I don't have to convince you of this shit. You just have to think. Think. If your feelings are the truth, how could you ever build a consistent identity? If your thoughts that run around are the truth, how could you ever build a consistent identity? If the circumstances are the truth, how could you ever build a consistent identity? We walk around all the time and just like, bro, it is what it is. Shit happens, bro. Sometimes shit happens. Can you build an identity on a reality where you look out there and say shit happens? Sometimes I just feel sad. All right, come on, y'all. Think. I don't need to convince you of this. If you open up your brain, it will convince you itself. I'm not here to swindle you and convince you to walk around and know that you're God, right? Put the shit to test. You've been in whatever mechanism that you've been in for the last 2 years, trying to manage your feelings, and ain't shit changed in your life. So what are you asking me about feelings for? Are they true? This person says they're true. I don't care what they say. What do you say? What do you say? Beautiful. All right, so here we go. Faith without emotional proof is the decision to stand when nothing inside you agrees. This is what faith without proof is. Faith without proof is the decision to stand when nothing inside you agrees. My feelings don't agree, but I'm prosperity. My thoughts don't agree, I'm prosperity. My circumstances don't agree, but I'm prosperity. And that is the only way that shit will change, is if you take a stand for yourself. But so many people, you don't want to take a stand for yourself. You want another book, another teacher, another lesson, another mentor, another affirmation, another sleep tape, another technique, another day, another moment to be confused. You think you need more information so you can decide to be prosperity. What more information do you need? To decide that shit is working out, how much more information do you need? To decide that it's going to work out even if I'm sad. That I am loved even if the circumstance looks opposite. What is it going to take you to do that? Aren't you tired of being slapped around by life? Aren't you tired of walking around in the same situation over and over and over again? Getting cheated on over and over and over again? Broke over and over and over again? Body that you don't like over and over and over again? Friendships you don't like over and over and over again? Aren't you ready to experience the love that you are? Who is stopping you from giving yourself permission? I know I'm getting a little bit more pointed with y'all today. I know. It's not because I'm angry. I know some of y'all are like, no, why are you angry? Shut your ass up. I ain't angry. I just got to say some shit differently sometimes because y'all knuckleheaded. When do you want to give yourself what you desire? You can sit here and we can listen. We can talk. I can come on live. You can read all the books. You can do all that shit for the next 10 years until you make a decision. Ain't shit finna change. Ain't shit finna change. Man, do you know what we call somebody who does the same shit over and over again expecting a different result? An idiot, first and foremost. But it's also the definition of insanity, right? You do the same thing every day. You wake up, try to manage your feelings. You wake up thinking that you got something else to learn. You wake up watching another video, reading another book, doing another fast, doing another meditation, doing another affirmation, doing another sleep tape, doing more subliminals. Constantly saying, well, I just don't feel like love today. Well, I just don't feel like prosperity today. Well, I just don't feel like it. You do this shit over and over and over again. You think one day, magically, life's going to change. It's not. Because you won't change. You're the same person. You're being the same sad-ass person. You are being the same person. You know, I just got to find the ego loops. There's something wrong, and I just noticed my character, but there's something wrong, and I got to figure it out. Shut up. Just decide that you're prosperity. Decide. Decide that you are prosperity. My God. Don't you deserve that shit? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of reading every goddamn book? It's saying the same shit. You're like, fuck. I know this one said the same shit as the last one. But maybe if I just read 3 more, then I'll get it. Oh, exhausting. Maybe it's the next lecture. Maybe I need to binge watch somebody new. Every time you hear a technique, your ears just perk up. Huh? What? New technique? Sign me up. Yeah, some of y'all are like, oh yeah, I don't even want techniques. I'm just exhausted. Okay. Let a motherfucker whisper a technique in your ear that you ain't never heard. All of a sudden, yeah, you trying that shit out. Don't fucking lie. Are you ready for change or not? It's easier said than done. When you give someone your all and they tell you they see you as family after being in your life for the past 3 years, we do everything together, and now he says, only sees me as. My God. Look. either you are going to be a victim of that same story and keep repeating it and keep living in it, keep dwelling in it, keep reciting it like poetry, like your sermon, and wonder why nothing changed. Look at the passion in those fingers that typed that message. It is easier said than done. Is it? Is it? It's easier said than done? If you're basing your identity on the circumstances, you'll never break free from that. If you're basing your identity on what you see outside of you, okay, you are going to be all right. You've been through a situation, right? You've been through this situation. And right now you have this story in your mind of, it's just not easy for me to choose what I want. And you go immediately to this past and you start telling me about this story, right? So you dig deeper into it. You say, okay, it's not easier and this is why. So I can't just pick an identity without understanding my circumstances. So this is why. Are you going to give yourself permission to have what you desire? All right. We can either rehearse the story of love, make ourselves the center of the equation, or we continue to look at the world as truth. And this is what I mean, y'all. This is what I mean. Because the statement that you made has a lot of layers. The first layer is this. When I hear you talk like this, I understand, or I see that you're in this manifestation space from a place of desperation. Okay, first and foremost. You can have whatever you want, but you can't get to love from the lack of love. Meaning you cannot sit in the relationship or receive the relationship that you desire while you're sitting in an identity of the lack of that relationship. All right. So how do we change that? First and foremost, your story has to be about you and not them. You're taking this outside-in approach where you're thinking immediately about that person and you're looking at yourself through that person and you're judging yourself, right? This happened, he was there or she was there and it was 3 years and they treated me great and they just disappeared. I don't know why. How can you expect to get from there to deciding that you're in a loving relationship if that's what you want? Okay. The first thing that you have to do, and I'm not gonna go into too many details about the SP because I don't really feel like talking about them today. But the first things first is that this has to become about you. You as love, not you as love as a feeling, but you as love as the core foundational truth of your life. Then we've got to collapse him into you, meaning he's not separate from you. He's not outside of you, right? He's just a reflection of you. If you get to that point that you are love and you can start from the inside out, meaning I am love, so of course he loves me, and he is already me. He's just a reflection of me, so of course he loves me. Now you're in the ball game. However, This is what I'm going to advise you as somebody that loves you. Do you believe that your attachment to that story has gotten better or worse since you've been on this manifestation path? Do you believe that your life has gotten better or has it gotten worse? Do you believe that you're a better person? Are your relationships better in other areas of your life? Money better? Looks better? Are you less stressed? Are you walking with more authority? Are you better? Both is not a good answer. Both ain't a good answer. Are you better or not? If you keep on, guys, I cannot stress this enough. We keep speaking about the things that we don't want and arguing for them. I don't know, you don't get it. Like, I can't just decide who I am because this happened. And then we wonder why that same situation keeps showing up. We argue and affirm for our limitations. We affirm for them, argue for them, fight for them, cling to them, plead for them, beg for them. And then are acting so confused when nothing changes. You have to fall in love with yourself, man. You gotta fall in love with yourself. Staying in the decision. What do you mean staying in the decision? What does that mean? You make the decision and you move on, right? If you make a decision to put on a black shirt, do you have to constantly stay in that decision? Or did you already put on the black shirt? So the moment you made a decision, you put the coordinates in the GPS. Now you're just following the coordinates, right? You're just following the road, step by step. You're just marching. Okay? You might have to turn this to a Q&A. Yeah, for sure. The best decision is falling in love with yourself. Feel like there's something you should do. That's how it is. That's what tricks you, right? Thinking that you got to do something else. What else is there to do? What else would you be doing? Right? Put on a black dress and oh well. Too bad your thoughts and doubts don't matter. They don't matter. Too bad the thoughts and the doubts don't matter. Oh, what's up, Maria? Today has been a day, y'all. For sure. Today has been a fucking day. And I ain't even been doing much. I've been just writing and shit. But I've had some good conversations and shit today. So I got about 30 minutes. Let's just go on and make this little Q&A session. Let's make this a Q&A session. I'm going to ask it. What do you recommend when a 3D shows the opposite of your decision identity? I recommend nothing. I recommend realizing that you're the truth and not what you see as the truth, right? That you are the truth. What you see out there is It's not the truth. It's just the moment. It's just information about what this moment contains. But what this moment contains is not the truth, right? How can we break the addiction to thinking about someone? The addiction to thinking about someone. Think about other things, right? What can you fall in love with more? Can you fall in love with yourself more? The way that you call it obsession is already showing me that it's something that you had to develop over time, right? Can you make your primary focus on the love that you are, the source that you are, right? This is why I love talking about the mystic path, because the path of mystics is their primary objective was the realization or the recognition that source is within them. And all problems were downstream from that recognition. You're putting somebody else on a pedestal to where you believe that you're addicted to thinking about them, right, is downstream from the real issue of you not putting yourself and your truth as all that there is on the pedestal, right? You literally have an opportunity to walk through reality moment by moment in the knowing that you're all that there is and create the most beautiful life for yourself in all aspects, in all areas of your life, yet you're too busy thinking about one person. And I get it, it can be triggering, right? Because people are like, you don't understand, I really love this person, yada. We've all loved people. We've all loved people. But when does our love just simply turn into abandonment? Right? So we take steps to getting healthy and fit, eat healthy and working out. But if you just rest in the I am, will you still be healthy and fit? Perhaps. You tell me. You tell me. Rest in the I am, huh? So if you rest in the I am, like what? Like if you simply accept the truth that you're healthy, of course it'll work out for you. The same way that if you accept the truth that you're prosperity, of course it's gonna work out for you. Right? If you accept the truth that you are love, of course it's gonna work out for you. It's all gonna work out for you. Ask the career question. Ask the career question. Feel bored, but I'm firing. What do you think that means, that you feel bored? No matter what. How do you bring it back to self? Easily. Instead of thinking about them, you think about how you're God. Instead of thinking about them, you think about how you're source. Yes, as you are. Yeah. What else is there to accept? That as you are, you can't get what you want? That's the only alternative, right? You have two choices. Right now, I am the person who can have whatever they want, or I'm not, and I'm not going to get shit. You might as well choose the identity that benefits you. Anything else doesn't make sense. When we really start to, when we really start to think about this and break it down in simple terms, it doesn't make sense to think anything else. Either you're deciding to be somebody who's not it yet and you got to work and strive and do all these things and read more and understand more, or you can just decide that everything is perfectly working out for you right now. Either way, you're right. Either way, you're right. Isn't it the ego that decides? A decision is an illusion anyway. Once we get down to it a little bit deeper, right? You have your desire that shows up. Okay? The desire shows up that says this is already within you. So even our quote unquote decision, all we're doing when we're deciding is getting out of our way. We're removing the illusion that we're not already it. That's all you're okay. The decision is not a thought or a word. The decision is the recognition that you're already it. That's what the decision is. Oh, it's a recognition that I'm already it. So is that the ego that decides? No, it's that desire showed up cleanly within awareness within you, right? It's the same way that source desires to experience the human incarnation. And so here you are. Right? So no. Selecting it it's not the ego. If you just would rest in awareness and know that your desires were truth, they would just show up. Why we decide is the decision is to know that you're already it. This is what's going to happen. 1 year from now, if I imagine this present life or something different. Me personally, 1 year from now, no, it wouldn't be the same life. Of course not. But I'm open to however life flows for me. What's up, Abby? To make sure I understand what I say, I'll manifest. Intention plus detachment. I'm not going to say detachment. I would just say intention and knowing that you're already it. Now, if you want to think of detachment in this moment, what I see right now, I don't attach what I see right now to the truth of who I am. I don't attach what I feel right now to the truth of what I am. I don't attach what I'm thinking right now to the truth of what I am. The truth of what I am just is the truth of what I am. It's the truth of what I am. Did I see your question in the Discord? I didn't. I'll go look for it. I haven't really been in the Discord today. I just didn't feel like being in there today. But I'll look it up. So yeah, the aligned state I would say is, sure, you have the intention or the desire plus the knowing that you're already it. And then anything else that shows up that implies you're not it, I detach from that as the truth. It's not the truth. So think about it like that. Nah, no problem. I seem sleepy, sad. No, I'm not sleepy or sad. I'm just chilling. Skincare routine. Any woman that I'm dealing with, I use her face wash. I appreciate you. Love you too. All right, y'all. I'm about to jump off here. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie. I love y'all. I just kind of ran flat. I don't believe that I'm gonna give y'all enough attention anymore. So, talk to y'all soon.